Good morning and welcome to today's verse. Today's verse comes to us from the book of Proverbs, Proverbs chapter 22, verse 4. I will read it. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Another translation says that the reward of humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. And yes, we would all want a certain measure of success. But make sure that success is not defined based upon how the world defines success. Because the world defines success, the way we do in our Western culture, the more you have, the better off you are. The more stuff that you have defines success. The titles that you have define success. When people are calling your name, it defines success. That's not necessarily success in God's view, because the world's way to get there oftentimes is stepping over other people, oftentimes taking advantage of other people. You know, the world would say a sucker is born every day, and they don't mind using another person to get ahead. No, arrogance and pride and all of that, that's not the way of the Lord. You know, God is able to take those of us that appear to be the least of us and exalt us to positions of great power, prestige, and honor, because the fear, we're humble, and we have the fear of the Lord. You remember Joseph. Joseph was just, in the eyes of man, a nobody. Joseph went from the pit to the prison to the palace to be the second in charge of Egypt. And there was, what about Moses? Moses was on the backside of a mountain when God called him, a runaway from the land of Egypt, that God returned him there to be the deliverer and the leader of a multitude of people. And what about David? David was just a shepherd boy. Even his own brothers overlooked him. Even his father overlooked him. But he was anointed to be the king of Israel and became known as a man after God's own heart. You know, humility is opposite of the way that the world would think. The world would say that if you're humble, that you'll never get ahead. But yet, it is those that are humble, those that do not think more highly of themselves than they are, those that have to depend on the Lord. I once heard someone say it this way, is that it's not so much that, why are you so humble? And they said, it's not so much that I am humble, but I know who I am in relationship to who God is. And if we have that mindset to know that we are nobody apart from God, God can use us in a mighty way. And the reward of humility and the fear of the Lord is riches. Riches, not necessarily as the world would define it, having a bunch of stuff, but to have a type of life that is well-pleasing unto the Lord, and a type of life that gives you peace. You can have a whole bunch of money and never have any peace because you're always worried about how you're going to keep that money. Glory be to God. That humility and fear of the Lord, the reward of that are riches and honor and life. Long life, because we have life eternal in the Lord Jesus Christ. I pray that you would meditate upon this verse, that it would be a word of encouragement to you today. And tune in again tomorrow, yes, as we consider today's verse.